If you only knew the power of the dark side.
Dinner smells great. So, I'll explain what's on the plate here in a second, but we will be talking this week about the Battle of Winterfell. I have got a fan request for review as well, plus we'll be talking about the unfortunate passing of Peter Mayhew, the original Chewbacca. So let's go ahead and get right into it. My name is Micah Curtis.
And I'm Alex Baldwin, also known as The Hatman.
Welcome to Micah and The Hatman, live. So, for those of you who don't follow me on Twitter, you should. It's at MindOfMicahC. I mentioned earlier that I was actually fasting for most of today. I did a 24-hour fast starting yesterday to try to knock myself back into ketosis, and I'm feeling much better, actually, now that I have. I don't know if all the carbs are worked out of my system, but that could take a little bit. So, it's a good head start, and I made myself garlic butter pork chops and sweet peas as well. And what I do is, when I make the garlic butter sauce, the pan that I, make that sauce in, I cook the peas in it. So it's got this light buttery flavor to them, plus all the healthy fats that I need in my diet on both pieces of meat. So yeah, I will be chowing on that, while Hatman walks us through his thoughts on the Battle of Winterfell. I have not watched this episode yet. We already talked about, kind of my thoughts before the podcast.
Yeah.
I'll let Hatman have his opinion, and we'll probably both do a special whenever the season's over. So, Hatman, go ahead and hit it.
All right. Before anything, I will be talking spoilers in this. So if you have not seen the episode or otherwise do not want to be spoiled at all, get out now.
Spoiler tag is up.
Spoilers. That. Okay. Now that everyone has left, presumably, that wants to leave, this is what we call rushing. This is what we call a rush job. You've got 6 episodes left to tie up all the loose ends, finish up the season, and apparently you just decide, you know what, fuck it, let's just rush anyway. Rush through it. So, a villain that you've been building up as the biggest bad, the only war that matters, I mean, verbatim, that's been said, that you spent the entire last season building towards, just disintegrates.
He did.
In one move. Now, let me say this just out front. I don't give a damn that Arya is the one that killed him.
She's not a Mary Sue.
No, absolutely she's not a Mary Sue. And honestly, I think people made that shit up. I don't think anyone actually believed that Arya is a Mary Sue. I think that shit was made up, just so people could get fucking mad. But anyway, no, I don't have a problem with her killing the Night King. The problem is the Night King effectively got snoped. It feels like the fucking Last Jedi all over again. I mean, you build up this dude. He's a mysterious force. You have no idea how he has the power and the resources that he does. There's lingering questions about him. He is clearly the main enemy of this story, and he gets murked like it's no big fucking deal.
Hatman.
Yeah.
I have a job for you.
What?
Explain why Arya Stark is not a Mary Sue.
Arya Stark is not a Mary Sue because Arya Stark has changed and developed over the course of 8 seasons of television. Arya Stark was pretty, what's the word I'm looking for?
Girly.
No, she was not girly. She was shit, impatient. Very, very impatient, headstrong, full of herself. That fucking changed because she kind of got a dose of her own fucking medicine. You can see that like sort of fade away during her time with the Hound, and then you can further see that fade away after she leaves the House of Black and White. Arya is not a Mary Sue.
Now, her
Arya,
powers, on the other hand, are Deus Ex Machina. That's different.
yeah,
Assassination in fiction, especially in fantasy stories, makes you a living weapon to a point where you have superpowers somehow.
yeah.
It's the same in Game of Thrones as it is in Assassin's Creed, as in any other places. So
yeah, no, she's not. She's not a Mary Sue. Deus Ex Machina, yes. Honestly, and in this episode, yeah, she was kind of a Deus Ex Machina too. Somebody brought up the point that if the other whites could hear like blood drops and were alerted to her presence because of that, like that whole scene of her sneaking around, then how in the fuck did she suddenly leap into the Night King to fucking stab him like that? But I don't know. Semantics, whatever. I mean, the show has not always kept ridiculous attention to detail, but at the same time, trying to put her off as like the true Azor Ahai, the prince that was promised. The whole prophecy that Melisandre gave, you will shut brown eyes, blue eyes, green eyes, and then that got reversed to blue eyes last because apparently now it's a clusterfuck. It's like they wrote themselves into a corner, did not realize that they had the time that they had left in order to wrap everything up, and decided, you know what, fuck it, let's just go ahead and end this right now. Fuck all the prophecy, fuck all the building of that sort of tension, the questions and whatnot. Let's just murk him in one go. Fuck it. Same shit like they did with Snoke. Because I guess it subverts our expectations.
that is not something you want to celebrate.
No, it's not. It just... It took what could have been the best episode of Game of Thrones and just fucked it. It just fucked it. And I'm very, very disappointed. And honestly, like I've been saying, I have a feeling this is all because of crunch. They want to wrap everything up as quick as possible, which means they are cutting corners. But this is one of those corners that you don't want to cut. Again, I understand that this is a Game of Thrones. It's supposed to be about the Iron Throne. But you don't build up an existential threat for multiple seasons, spend one entire season trying to get everyone to come together to defeat this threat, and then it turns out that he's just beaten in one battle anyway. No. That is not how storytelling works. Hopefully the last 3 episodes are going to make up for it, because at this rate, I think everyone is going to get off of the Game of Thrones high. Although now you have more and more people saying, yeah, the show hasn't really been good since maybe the 5th season. So... Is Vince McMahon running this series? That's a good fucking question. That's a good fucking question.
Well, I look forward to Roman Reigns spearing the fuck out of Cersei. That's gonna be awesome.
Oh my god.
Suddenly the Shield triple powerbomb her off of a cliff. Actually, no, we can't do that. Dean Ambrose left. Damn it. My favorite member. Alright. Well, didn't get to finish my food quick enough, but that's okay. Let's move on to my pick of the week. Obviously, Hatman is not a fan of this. My pick of the week was a nice little piece of nostalgia, being that I'm somebody who grew up watching the Adam West Batman series, called Batman vs. Two-Face. You can get this on Amazon Prime for nothing. And, excuse me. Basically what it is it is a an animated movie in the style of the old Batman TV show, with, lo and behold, Adam West as Batman. This was made before he passed away. William Shatner plays Two-Face.
Interesting.
Oh, very. And, God, who is it that's Robin in this? I don't remember if it's...
Is it still Burt Ward?
Yeah, it's Burt Ward.
Okay.
And it's an interesting take, because basically, you know, you constantly get modern takes on Golden Age villains, right? Mm. Well, Two-Face is not a Golden Age villain. He didn't show up in the comics till way later, after the Golden Age. This is taking a more modern villain in Two-Face and giving him a Golden Age interpretation. And that was really interesting, in my opinion. And, oddly enough, it's a really fun movie. I was really, really, really surprised by that. I didn't expect to have a sort of Golden Age retro thing, first off, not be, like, gay. I'll just be upfront about it. I expected this to be, like, the Batman version of the ambiguously gay duo, which is what, you know, the ambiguously gay duo was parroting Adam West Batman. But, with, Silver Age, right, anyway. Point being is, I think to myself, when I watch something like this, it's like, I didn't expect them to take a callback like this and have it be true to form. I had figured it was going to be super tongue-in-cheek and ironic and subvert your expectations. There's that line. This plays it straight. It is a old school... It felt like another Adam West Batman movie. Down to the wire. And I appreciate it for that. It was a ton of fun. And it's one of those things where you could be a parent and sit down with your kid and watch it, and they're going to love it as much as you are. You're going to love it for the nostalgia and the callbacks. They're going to love it because it's a very easy to get into Batman story. That's not scary or anything like that. You know, like, it really is a fun movie. A really fun movie. Shatner, of course, is William Shatner. I mean, it is exactly what you would expect from the cast, down to the letter. So, I don't really know if there's really much else to say about it. Are there any questions that you would have about it, Hatman?
Not really. It's one that I thought about watching, especially after watching Batman and Harley Quinn, which honestly I felt was kind of disappointing. But yeah, if all the classic Batman actors are back, then I'm down. Fuck it.
Yeah, the only
and Bill Shatner is fucking Two-Face.
Oh yeah, and he's great. He's always great. It's Bill Shatner, but
yeah.
But no, the funniest part about Harley Quinn, Batman and Harley Quinn, was that they gave Harley a fat ass, and that's about it.
Yeah, that that and the whole
the fact that she fucked Dick Grayson too.
Yeah. Which may or may not have been against his will.
He seemed to be pretty into it later in the movie.
Yeah, well. It brings a whole new meaning to "don't stick your dick in crazy."
Yes, it does. On multiple levels. I just got that. I'm like, hey, Hatman made it funny. Good for Hatman. And needless to say, though, if you're looking for some good Silver Age sort of Adam West Batman stuff, especially if you find yourself missing Adam West, definitely watch this movie. He does great in it. He's always fun. So, yeah, definitely check it out. Have we seen Batman Ninja? I have not.
No,
I saw the design of the Red Hood in it and instantly lost interest. He looks stupid. So, all right. Hatman, I'm gonna need a favor from you.
What's that?
I need to finish this plate, and we need to talk about Jim Cummings being accused of what he's being accused of. So after I give the introduction, I'm going to need you to read exactly the account of what's going on here. For those who don't know, Cummings is a legendary voice actor, known for voicing Winnie the Pooh, Darkwing Duck.
He's also Tigger.
Tigger as well.
Yeah.
Done a lot of Disney stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Been around for a long time. He's also done more mature stuff as well. He got brought in to do the voice of the Terror Mask in Splatterhouse, and I'm sorry, he uses the Darkwing Duck voice for it. So there are scenes where like Darkwing Duck is cussing you out, and it's fucking hilarious. I love that game. But in all seriousness, though, a legend in the business for people who follow voice acting. He also did, I think he did voice acting for the Fallout series as well. You know, you can, like, he's done a ton of video game work too. Like, he's damn good at what he does. But he has been accused of sexual harassment, assault, among other things, in a divorce proceeding.
Mm-hmm.
Key words. Hatman, go ahead and read.
Not just divorce, custody battle. So, ex-wife has accused him of physical, sexual, and emotional abuse, including but not limited to death threats, rape, and various sexual deviant behavior forced upon me without my consent, quote unquote. Often without consent would touch my buttocks, my groin, and my breasts and demand sex from me in exchange for meeting his support obligations. Apparently went creepy Joe too. Forcefully put his hand on the back of my neck and kissed me while holding me in place against the wall. And Cummings' response is that it was a moment of lightheartedness that was understood by everyone. Or at least the certain incident. So, oh bother. Oh bother.
That was a terrible joke. Shame Hatman. Everyone shame to Hatman!
Shame! 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 Shame!
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm kind of retarded.
All right, continue.
So, you were just looking for an excuse to use that button. Don't even lie.
Never said I wasn't.
Anyway, yeah. This is something that you need to take with not just a grain of salt, but a goddamn planet full of salt. Custody battle, divorce proceeding.
Always messy.
Always messy. On top of that, we have somewhat of a similar story, somewhat recently. Johnny Depp and Amber Heard.
Yep.
If you don't remember that one, it goes a little something like this. Amber Heard, in her divorce proceedings, claimed that Johnny Depp was verbally and emotionally abusive towards her, would attack her, injured her, assaulted her, etc., etc. People believed the accusations without really any evidence, except for some photos that she took, which were very dubious. And Johnny Depp was not asked to return to Pirates of the Caribbean after that. Remember, they were just starting a new trilogy too.
Mm-hmm.
So he lost work because of it. Turns out she was the one who had abused him, including, severing one of his fucking fingers. So, yeah, turns out that was a load of shit. And this really just speaks to the danger of these Me Too type accusations, too. I mean, you don't need me to tell you that we need to verify these sorts of things. That if there's no evidence, like the lack of a police report or something, there's a good chance that whatever accusation is there is a bunch of fucking bullshit. Jim Cummings, Johnny Depp, fucking Vic Mignogna. We talked about him too.
Yep.
I mean, it doesn't end. And I think people are just using this now because they know they can get away with it. They know that if there is enough social pressure put on somebody, it doesn't matter if an accusation is true or not. The accusation is enough to ruin someone's reputation, because you will always have doubt in people's minds. There could be all kinds of evidence to prove that shit is wrong, that it's fake, trumped up, what the fuck ever. There will still be people who believe it, though. And just like with this, there are people that are treating this as absolute gospel just because the accusation has been made.
And that's generally the issue with the whole listen and believe philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
Is if you apply it to someone's life, accusation becomes truth. And you can't have that. In my day-to-day, at the job I work at, which is in the insurance business, evidence is everything. There has to be some sort of a testimony. There has to be some way for us to have something to make a decision on.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing you learn really quick is that everybody lies.
Mm-hmm.
And you ask the question, why would somebody lie? Very easy. Money, influence, power, revenge, so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
I see it every day.
Yep.
So do I say that Jim Cummings is innocent? No. Do I say he's guilty? No. I don't know. I don't know shit, and neither does anybody else. Except for him and his wife. Soon to be ex.
Yeah. I'm, of course, going to lean into the not guilty camp.
Because women tend to lie a lot.
Not just that.
In proceedings like this.
Not just that. This is someone who would literally call hospitalized children in the voice of Winnie the Pooh to comfort them.
Yeah. Chaos Sonic just gave us $5. What does he say here? Says, I think this is an ex-wife who wants to ruin Jim's life, and I hope Jim also fights back. If it's a false considering the track record on this, I think it is. So it seems like Chaos Sonic agrees with you there. And I do too. I think that there's a good chance that this is bullshit. Because, like constantly see this. I could say this as somebody who's gone through divorce proceedings. One party who is at a disadvantage constantly feels the need to demonize the other party because it strengthens their case.
Mm-hmm.
You have to keep in mind, I've gone through a divorce, and my parents also had a very messy one too, where accusations were levied back and forth between both of them. A lot of them that weren't true. So, once again, we are going to find ourselves with people of one political party going one direction on this, and people of another political party going another direction on this. It's going to be one fucking mess again.
Mm-hmm.
Innocent until proven guilty. So, yeah, I got nothing else to say on this. What about you, Hatman?
I guess all I have to say is if his ex-wife is calling him a much smaller version of Harvey Weinstein, quote unquote, and is trying to claim that their children's lives are in danger for full custody, no.
The fact that she never called the cops prior to this,
Yeah.
brings a lot of things into question.
And apparently, like, some of these allegations date back to, like, 2011 even?
Yeah.
Between 2011 and 2018 is supposedly when all this went down. Knowing Hollywood like I do, some of this would have gotten out. There's no way. No. Weaponized rape accusations. Brainbox, I think you nailed it.
Yeah, that really is what it is. Because, like, some of the stuff that's detailed in here sounds like playful stuff between couples.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, he smacked me on the ass before asking me. You have any idea how many girlfriends I've had that have smacked my ass without me asking them to? Every single fucking one of them! Apparently I've been sexually assaulted, Hatman. I just never knew it.
Oh, shit.
Somebody get the rape kit. You have to take scrapings off my butt.
No, Micah, no. We don't need evidence. We just need a hashtag and a viral tweet.
Yes, and feelings. It's like, really? Really? I see couples goose each other all the fucking time. You know, or kiss each other on the nape of the neck. Mm-hmm. Or stuff like that. You know, it's like, are we at a point, ladies and gentlemen, where we need signed paperwork to physically interact with one another? Am I going to have to go to the International Conference on Men's Issues with a sign around my neck saying, yes, it's okay to hug me? Seriously?
Probably.
Fucking hell.
Probably.
Hey, Aiden, if you're watching, if you want to give me a giant hug when we finally meet face to face, I'm going to need a signed affidavit. I'm going to need consent with 3 witnesses, and my mother has to approve it as well.
Oh my god, I'm gonna tweet afterwards that there was a violent hugging incident.
Tweet her in it, because she's probably gonna laugh when she sees this. But in all seriousness, but that's, I think if it's like, I would imagine that's probably what would happen. You know, it's ridiculous to me. Chaos Sonic is throwing more money at us.
Jesus Christ.
But think about that, and it's like. And he says, people wonder why RGE, Raging Golden Evil, hey, and hopefully he's watching, hey buddy, is MGTOW after all. Why deal with today's political climate with the other sex when you can have fun with waifus? Fair point, I suppose. Like I said, when I did Men's Issues Week, I kind of understand the MGTOW position. I don't think I really, well, I kind of am one, but it could end at any minute if I found the right woman. And that's generally the thing. It's like, here I thought we were going to move on, but now we're dragging on. Because there's a bigger microcosm here that needs to be discussed. Mm-hmm. Is like, I think about myself in my day-to-day, how picky I am with women now. Like, even interacting with women. It's like, I won't even, like, talk with a woman on certain subjects unless I know that we have similar values. Because I worry about where it could go. You know, I think of how many female friends I have in this day and age. It's a very low number. Mm-hmm. You know, very low. More so than when I was younger. You know? And do I think that there's probably a woman out there who does share my values I might end up getting married to someday? Maybe. We'll see what happens. But we are so divided, and this sort of a situation is part of the issue. Is that there are people who will take a situation like what's going to happen with Jim Cummings in the following months, or Vic Mignogna, or Johnny Depp, and they're going to use that, to politicize it, and then they're going to make it about this man versus woman thing that it's not. There is not a sane person in the United States of America that thinks that people who rape should be allowed to go free. There are 0 people who believe that are sane people. And on top of that, it makes it worse for people who are actually victims of this sort of thing. Because you're crying wolf. What happened to the boy who cried wolf? The wolf ate him! It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, it's childish, and it draws lines where there shouldn't be lines drawn. And that's why it is more important now than ever to make sure that if you date somebody with your values, you date to marry, not just to play around. You date to marry. You look for somebody to start a family with who has those same values that you do. You take responsibility for what you're doing there in that situation. And by God, sign a fucking prenup. Seriously. Because if somebody is going to divorce you for whatever reason, they are, and this is something that I know we'll be talking about a lot at ICMI, is if you say, I want to divorce you, you are saying, I am perfectly fine with living without you in my life. And everything that comes along with that. And that should be signed every fucking time on a legal level. All right, let's go ahead and move on. I think we've kind of lingered on this quite a bit. So,
yeah.
Hatman, I'm going to let you take the lead on this one. Today is May the 4th, so May the 4th be with you, folks.
May the 4th be with all of you.
And after this, I'm actually going to play For Honor, because For Honor now has lightsabers, apparently.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Very. But, Peter Mayhew, the original Chewbacca, has passed away. So, Hatman, if you would, take the lead.
So, I was fortunate enough to actually meet Peter Mayhew. This was back in, I believe, 2014, during one of the last Star Wars weekends. And for those of you who don't know, that was a time in Disney World where you'd have a few weekends in the summer, typically May and June, where you'd have Star Wars actors, actresses, people who had otherwise worked on the movie. 501st would come down, and it'd just be like a massive Star Wars thing in one of the parks. And this was before Galaxy's Edge was even being conceptualized. This is like right after Disney had actually, technically it was before Disney had bought Lucasfilm that they were doing this thing. But anyway, and one year Peter Mayhew was there, and my sister and her boyfriend were with me at the time. And we were all waiting in line to see if we could meet Billy D. Williams, because he was there. And then we noticed that his line was like ridiculously long, so we were like, no, let's not do that. And we saw Peter Mayhew was going to be showing up in like the next half hour or so. And we were like, yeah, let's go see Peter Mayhew, because my sister's boyfriend's favorite character was Chewbacca. So, yeah, let's go see him. He was incredibly kind, very, very humble. Took time with each person that was there. Soft-spoken. Like you almost had to get like right up next to him to hear him. And obviously, big dude. I mean, his hands were fucking huge. But we all got autographs. We all got pictures taken. I posted my picture with him on Twitter. And it's funny because I didn't really get to spend that long with him, like maybe a minute or two. But I never forgot that moment. just, I guess, the knowledge that he was as kind as he was, humble as he was, and here I am, calling celebrities most of the time, uh, you know, conceited, self-absorbed, all that stuff. But Peter Mayhew, like even in everyday life, like you would see him interacting with fans on Twitter. He had a Reddit account that he would respond to people with. Always wishing them well, always so kind. The words "gentle giant" have never been truer, I would say. But yeah, it's a shame to lose him. I know he had not been in the best health for a while, so I can't say that this is really shocking or surprising. I believe he had a double knee replacement surgery a few years back. But yeah, I'm very fortunate to have met him for the brief time that I did, but to be a little cliche, I always looked up to him since that moment. So, to Chewbacca, what a Wookiee.
Indeed. He will very much be missed. Alright, let's go ahead and move on to our final topic. Oh dear God.
Oh dear Lord.
That Sonic trailer. So, I was not a Genesis kid growing up. I was a SNES person. I didn't play Sonic 2. I didn't beat Sonic the Hedgehog 2 until I was 21? 20 years of age. So, I was in college at the time. No, I just gotten married, actually. That was when I beat Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I'd played it. I'd played the entire trilogy. I just never beaten any of them. But, so even I wasn't the biggest, like, Sonic the Hedgehog fan when I was a kid. But I was kind of interested when they said they're going to do a live-action Sonic the Hedgehog movie. I'm like, well, what are they going to make Sonic look like? Apparently retarded.
I am halfway convinced, or at least I was, that this was basically trying to outdo the Super Mario Brothers movie as the worst video game adaptation ever.
Yeah, to say the least.
But apparently they're changing the fucking design for Sonic now because of all the backlash.
Well, yeah, and that's something interesting, and I think that this was actually a positive of all of it. So, yeah, a lot of people were like, that doesn't look like Sonic the Hedgehog at all, and it doesn't. It really does not. It's like why would you not want to make him look like the video game Sonic the Hedgehog? It's such an iconic look. It would actually look a lot better. But they said, yeah, we hear what you're saying. We'll go back to the drawing board. I've never seen a Hollywood film say that. Like, what, really? You're gonna redo it. And this was something that I've been saying for the longest time whenever it comes to the entertainment industry. It's not even a go woke get broke thing. It's if you do not listen to the people who are willing to buy what you're selling, you will fail in the long run. We actually had a thing like recently where Nasser Rabidi, doing Brutus the Badass with Donald DeLay, and has another Kickstarter he started called Trixie Kane, where he went off on people on Twitter, and his artist Donald DeLay, who's a friend of his, basically said, give us your feedback on Nasser. And that might have saved Nasser's very young career. Because he's got to look at that and say, okay, here's where I need to improve. Mortal Kombat 11 is another really good example. Mortal Kombat 11, there was a ton of feedback about the towers and the grinding and all that stuff, and they're fixing it piece by piece. This is a criticism. They look at it, they address it, and they take care of it in real time. That is how you keep an audience. That is how you make money. There are some people who are assholes, who are only interested in dunking on you to make themselves look good. That is true. But do not give your fan base such low credit as to assume they are all like that. Because there are some people who criticize because they love something. If you realize that and you take that criticism seriously, you will get better. Things will get better. Using myself as an example, you guys probably noticed I did a lot more videos this week than I usually do. It's because people have been calling for ages for me to be a little bit more active. People have been telling me who have bigger channels than I do that are friends of mine. They say, Micah, if you get more active and you do more videos, you will grow. It's inevitable you will grow. And people will notice you and people will like you. And lo and behold, look what I did. I appeared on 2 live streams. I hung out with Hirohei and I hung out with Nick Ricada and did a lot more videos this week. And lo and behold, I gained 500 subscribers this month. That's the biggest amount I've had gain-wise in 6 months. You know? So you have to be able to listen to the audience. And don't dismiss them all as assholes. You know? You take them seriously, because at the end of the day, that's who buys the ticket. That's who gives the donation. That's who supports you and wants you to succeed and is willing to give their hard-earned money to you to help you succeed. We live in a capitalistic society. We have to start treating it like it if you want to get better. I am competing with people. We both are. We all are. So you have to get people to want to give the dinero and want to pay you for what you have and what you offer. So, do I think this is probably going to be a good movie? Probably not. But the simple fact that they are willing to go the extra mile and make some changes to hopefully get more people in seats, good on them. Thumbs up.
Yeah. I will say this though, all the people suddenly losing their shit, thinking that they can dunk on the critics because, I guess artistic liberties don't count for this now, do they?
Really?
Paramount decided of their own volition to change the design.
Yes.
They got backlash. The fans spoke. The fans did not make the decision for them. They chose that.
Yes.
And when I believe even Yuji Naka is on board with this, you don't have a goddamn argument.
Exactly. Chaos Sonic donated another $5, says, even if the design has changed, still doesn't mean the script will be good, and usually I enjoy Sonic, couldn't tell by your name. Even with Sonic 06 and the buggy what the fuck mess that it was still enjoyable thing, what is wrong with the movie as CG, why live action? That's a good question. So, needless to say though, yeah, time will tell whether or not this is something enjoyable, but at least, if nothing else, Paramount's willing to listen, and that is a very positive thing. So, let's go ahead and hit the Q&A. So, we got a couple questions from the Patreon. Talon Silverbean put up here says, for the entertainment podcast, the image above this question, thoughts on it? And that is, it's an image of the new playable character in For Honor. Sakura is her name. I don't remember the name of the class, but it's a samurai that wields a giant axe, and there is a art contest. So for those of you who are For Honor fans and you are also artistically inclined, I would advise doing that contest to get into it. It should be fun. As for the character itself, tried her out, didn't really like her. Couldn't really, doesn't fit my vibe, really. I kind of prefer I'm a knight player. You know, I play as knights, specifically as the Black Prior and the Conqueror, and then Lawbro, which I heard he got reworked, so I'm going to try him out today. But anyway, and speaking of which, there's a lightsaber day today, and I'm going to play that for sure. Okay, so Holy Ninja Toe asked, with the recent non-traversies over the censorship of butts in Devil May Cry 5 and creators intentionally design characters to be more covered, In Mortal Kombat 11, how should we specifically define censorship? I think that if there is, like, with Devil May Cry, it was censoring, you know, because there was nudity that was present and they covered it up with something. In Mortal Kombat, I would not call it censorship because it is a redesign of classic ideas. And even then, it's not like there was no skin shown. Like I mentioned, there are costumes that Jade, Katana, and Cetrion all have where their asses are hanging out of them. Quite literally hanging out of the costume. You know? Things like that. So that's a creative direction as opposed to, like, active censoring. If Katana had a naked costume and there were black bars over her, that would be censorship. So yeah, that's what makes that different. So I think censorship is pretty well defined already, to say the least. And I think we got a couple other questions from there. Black Comment wants to know, do you think the word woke is being overused? Yes.
Yes, very yes.
I'm worried it's becoming the right-wing anti-SJW version of how the leftists use the word racism/racist. It seems to me its meaning is becoming diluted into simply things I don't like. Yeah, I plan on doing a video called The Great Woke Panic in the near future, which I have a feeling will get downvoted like a motherfucker. But it needs to be said, where I feel like we're declaring everything woke. And like I said on Twitter, if everything is woke, then nothing is. It's like saying if everything is racist, then nothing is. Yeah, you know, exactly. The idea that, like, women wearing pants is woke. We got a problem here, guys. So
pants are woke.
And the thing about it is that there will be specific people that I call out in the video for it. They will be people I like, and I will probably tell them, this is not personal. This is a criticism of you because I want you to improve. That's it. Because a couple of them will be people that we have had positive interactions with. Mm-hmm. I will just be honest right now. One of them's the Quartering. And I like Jeremy quite a bit. Another person will be Ian Miles Chong. I've never had a bad interaction with Ian. But this is something that needs to be discussed. So, but regardless, so yeah, there's definitely a problem with that. And then Zion the Blank wants to know, Vanilla Gorilla sounds like a porno. Oh my god. How about Vanilla Gorilla meets short-haired warrior babes? Starring Micah, Vanilla Gorilla Curtis, Alice, Frisky Ferret Baldwin, and Wooly Hardrage Madden.
Fuck the shot glass.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. No, Vanilla Gorilla is a way that black dudes describe guys who are built like me. I have heard Vanilla Gorilla for years. A friend of mine named Shermond actually used to call me Vanilla Gorilla in college, along with Big Daddy. Like, those are a couple things. He didn't use Vanilla Gorilla very often. He used Big Daddy all the time. So, that is a very old nickname of mine that I haven't used in years. How many one-night stands have I had?
37.
No, actually, it's way less than that. 7. Just 7.
They paint you purple and call you grape ape instead.
Oh, God. Okay, Chaos Sonic wants to know, can I make a video on both of us reacting to Microsoft's new community guidelines? Here's the link. P.S. Thoughts on Pornhub wanting to buy Tumblr.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, because it's basically just going to be Pornhub blogs at that point.
That's hilarious.
Either way, I'm not going to look at it.
The funniest part of that to me is that Verizon has now realized how much they fucked up in buying Tumblr, and now they're trying to fucking sell what they can of it.
Yeah.
And its value is so much less than what they paid for it just because of banning porn.
Oh yeah, exactly. All right. I think that's it from the Patreon. Yes. Then Hatman Twitter. And by the way, I'm gonna extend Q&A by 5 to 10 minutes because we're a little behind.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue.
Yes, please. Our Dank Horse Elric asks, what are our thoughts on game piracy? Personally, I can see it being justified when the game is unavailable for purchase, like unlocalized Japanese games, out-of-print games, defunct games stuck in copyright hell, etc. But pirating easily accessible games just because you don't want to pay the company feels like entitlement, like you're owed the use of their product, and if you don't feel they deserve your money, you don't have to pay them. It reminds me of the mindset behind socialism. Good argument.
Yeah.
SFO made a pro-piracy video recently, and while it was mostly about monopolistic companies trying to destroy the concept of ownership, he also endorses pirating EGS exclusives, even though they don't have anything close to a monopoly, simply because he doesn't like them.
Yeah, that's childish.
And this doesn't seem to be an uncommon sentiment either. Every time a developer or executive says or does something stupid, everyone and their dog gleefully announces they're going to pirate the game. It just baffles me that so many people who claim to be about freedom and capitalism think that just because they don't feel like the creator deserves their money, they have a right to take the product anyway.
Yeah,
Yes, are my questions getting too long/wordy?
No, that was a good question.
Yes.
And just to make the short point, yeah, I agree with you when it comes to, if it's available to purchase, you need to purchase it. Like that's the legal way.
Yeah.
Like I would never endorse for somebody to do something illegal ever.
Yeah.
Like now, if it's I will admit that the games that you can't purchase, that's a gray area. I really have no answer.
Yeah.
But if you can legally purchase it, do it. You have to keep in mind, guys, when I was dirt fucking poor, not that I'm not broke now. Well, thanks to Chaos Sonic, I'm considerably less broke than I was 10 minutes ago. But no, in all seriousness though, I forgot to mention I also have an announcement at the end of the podcast too after the Q&A is done. But anyway, regardless, I am not a fan of pirating, unless you cannot purchase it somewhere. Like that's, and even then, it's a very weird moral gray area for me, and that's why I still just don't do it. Like even games I emulate are games that I own, that I just don't have the hardware for anymore.
Yeah.
Which legally, that's what you actually can do that if you have a copy of the game.
Yeah, legally you can. It's essentially making a copy of it.
Yeah, it's for personal use.
But the only issue that I have with it is you've got some of the older games, like for example, think of Nintendo's titles. They like to make those available on multiple systems.
Virtual console too.
Virtual console being the big thing. And then you even got like the NES Mini, the SNES Mini, all that shit.
Oh yeah.
So
they've been getting very much better about getting those older games out to people.
Yeah. So my only issue is, emulating those games when it is possible to buy them. I still don't see a problem with it in that regard, if only because like the games are so old to the point where they are effectively out of print, or games that are ridiculously fucking difficult to obtain, like I don't know, fucking Cubivore or something. Those I don't so much have a problem with, but like modern releases, or just to stick it to the man. I don't believe piracy is a form of protest.
No, it's in some areas it could be considered a felony.
Yeah, well,
and I did a video where I chewed out Jim Sterling over this. Yeah,
well, beyond the criminal aspect of it, I think it's kind of a shitty protest to say, yes, I would play your game and I would buy it if you did all the things that I wanted. But I'm going to play it anyway because I want to. It's just I'm not going to pay for it because you're being an asshole.
You remember that Antifa protest we protest, quote unquote, that you and I live streamed, and they broke into the Starbucks and then started redistributing muffins?
Yes.
That's kind of what I equate it to.
Yeah.
Sorry, I wanted to get the question done and over with so more people can get stuff in. So anyway, what else we got here?
One more from... Oh, no, we have one from the Discord.
Yes, Alistair asks, favorite Star Wars video game. For me, it's going to be Jedi Academy or Knights of the Old Republic. Knights of the Old Republic 2, actually, with the expansion content.
I'm going to go with the OG Battlefront 2.
Very good choice. That was a great LAN game back in the day. Chaos Sonic gave me more money. All right, cool. Honest question to you guys: how long do you guys want Q&A to go today? I'm I don't have any plans, so if you want me to go a little longer, I'm okay.
Oh my god.
Chaos
Are
Sonic
you just
said,
going to throw money?
if he's going to keep throwing money at me, I'm not going to tell him no. He said, reason for the Xbox thing is because it looks like Microsoft is basically pulling a Facebook. Anyway, so I really ought to do a game night for KOTOR. I haven't done that in a long time. Well, KOTOR 2. KOTOR 1's very hard to stream. KOTOR 2, not so much. But,
Ooh, X-Wing versus TIE Fighter. Yes.
I've never played that, oddly enough.
Oh, man. Yeah,
not for more than 5 minutes, but...
play TIE Fighter. TIE Fighter's better.
That's what I hear. But, now for the email.
No, we have one more from Twitter.
Oh.
Crystal Wing asks, my friends keep saying for our D&D games we should make our own world with our own gods, demons, eldritch factions, and countries, etc. Is that something the game allows, or do we have to use the D&D official lore and settings, or can we make something unique?
You can make
something unique.
Yeah, you can make something unique. You can just use the gameplay as sort of a base.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, there was, like, one thing that we did in some of my games is we would introduce, like, alternate universe versions of characters from Forgotten Realms, like Valor from Planescape Torment. So... Justice is not blind, for I am her eyes. God, Keith David, you're amazing. Okay.
Okay, now we can get to the emails. Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, because we're 3 minutes away from what would be usually the end of the podcast.
Yeah, people keep throwing money at us and stuff. Not that we're complaining about it.
Yeah, I could use it.
Okay, Ultimate Agent 25 asks, you, specifically, Micah, what are your thoughts on the YouTuber Mauler?
I found myself cracking up at a thumbnail for one of his videos when I was watching my buddies Ethan and my boy Zach talking about the influence or the effect Comicsgate's had on the comic book industry. But because it's his picture of Brie Larson, you just look at it, you're like, what the fuck? So I've never watched a single one of his videos, but that was hilarious. So I've heard he's very in depth. And his show is almost like its own podcast in a sense. So I can't say anything about it.
There you go. Questionable Weeb friend Chris asks, best animated duel?
Duel?
Still can't look past the Jubei versus Genma fight on the sinking ship, even after all these years.
It's a really good one. God, Jubei versus Genma was really, really special. Animated duel, though.
That's a hard question. Okay, I'm going to go
I think my favorite is the first fight between Griffith and Guts.
I'm going to go a little odd. You all have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. The last Agni Kai in Avatar: The Last Airbender. The duel between Zuko and Azula. The music, the visuals of that, I think were just absolutely fucking phenomenal. And part of the reason why I think Avatar: The Last Airbender is one of the greatest animated series ever. 3 seasons. All of them were great.
Guts versus Zod. That's a really good one, too.
That's a good one, too, yep. Okay, let's see. I think we can answer this one from Serena because it's not terribly long. Question aimed at Micah. You did another one. I remember you said in a past video that you were a dark writer and you despise edgy writing. I wanted you to elaborate more on the difference between dark writing and edgy writing. Basically, how does a dark writer such as yourself avoid falling into the edgy category? I too am a fan of dark stories to start, despite not reading Berserk or Gantz yet. I would like to be able to write a good dark story in the future.
Okay, yeah, and here's an example. Berserk is dark, Gantz is edgy. So,
there you go.
Berserk, it's a tone thing. And Miura does not come across as making decisions just to shock you. It is the overall tone of the story. Another really good example is Devilman. Devilman being my principal inspiration behind Project Lazarus. As Hatman can tell you, there's a lot of parallels you can draw between Akira Fudo and Alpha in a lot of the ways that they act. So the difference is that imagine if Fudo was still Fudo even after he got the Devilman abilities. That's kind of what Alpha is. Alpha's kind of a mixture between Akira Fudo and Peter Parker in a lot of ways. But anyway, yeah, edgy kind of comes across like you're doing stuff for its own sake. And that's kind of what Gantz is, and it revels in it. And that's why it's still entertaining. Another really good example of edgy, as opposed to dark. Darkman is dark. Obviously.
Yes.
But it is a dark film.
Yes.
Zack Snyder's version of Watchmen is edgy.
Yeah. Director's cut version too.
Yeah. People having softcore porn sex while the Battle Hymn of the Republic plays, that's some edgy shit.
And the fucking flamethrower at the end of it too. That's... yeah.
Yeah. So, Hardboiled asks a question on top of that. Would Frank Miller's Sin City be dark or edgy? Edgy. Miller's very edgy in Sin City, but that's the point, and that's why it's still enjoyable. Because you can be edgy. Edgy is schlocky in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
In the way it comes across. But that's half of the fun, you know? So...
Shadow the Hedgehog.
But no, and Hatman can tell you, like, my stories tend to just be dark. You know, it's just kind of the overall tone of them. Is they're darker, they're a little bit more grounded. My announcement that I'll have at the end of this is another dark story where I've got an artist attached to it now too. Anyway, let's get to the chat here for about, let's say 7 minutes. I'll do the announcement and then we'll call it. So Hatman, pick the questions.
Okay. Well, Killbot asks us, so edgy kills and maims people for no reason. Dark is when it has a point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, basically. Edgy is just for the sake of it. Like Human Centipede, for example.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. If that makes any sense. Would God of War 2 and 3 count as edgy?
Yes. But that was what made them worse than the first game.
Yeah. The first game was.
Whereas 1 and 4 are dark. Boy!
Alright, I'm not going to count those to your question totals, by the way, so if you want to ask other ones, go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Cooper's Revenge Home asks, you guys have any thoughts about Randy pedophile Pitchford lying about microtransactions in Borderlands 3? It's almost like we shouldn't trust a guy who gets caught with CP.
Fuck him!
Fuck him.
Fuck him.
What else we got?
Eclectic 1995 asks, I came across a comment that said the Chronicles of Narnia are an isekai? Is that how you pronounce that?
I don't know.
What are your thoughts about that? I have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
I don't know either. To the Google.
Genre of fantasy anime where a character travels from the world they know to an unfamiliar one. Well, that's kind of...
Yeah?
Hell, you could say Star Wars is that.
Yeah. So it's like a way to describe the hero's journey, it seems.
Yeah.
Miss Rena has gave me a gift of love of $5. Sorry, I'm not letting it go. She said, would you mind reviewing a comic called Saga? Oh, God.
I have a bad feeling about this.
So Saga is kind of an edgy comic written by the same guy who did Why the Last Man.
Which you still need to finish, by the way.
I do. I'll tell you what, I will definitely review... For $5, I'll review the first arc. because I read it for free on Comixology, so I'll look through it again. But
I don't know. If Brian K. Vaughan's attached, I might have to pick it up too.
It's very different from Why the Last Man. Very different. So,
speaking of creative works, Daniel Garza asks, how's Muhammad Man coming?
So oddly enough, Brian, who's doing the art for Englewood, said he would be interested in doing it at some point. It might happen. I have not decided yet. The reason that was a reaction to the Second Coming book, that never happened. I think like one issue and then DC canceled it. So I don't know if it'll happen, but if it does happen, the goal for it will be for it to happen will be because the artist for it, whose name escapes me, is infamous for never or even working on a Kickstarter for a book that he was going to do, and I would basically try to raise like the exact amount of what his comic was, and then then make the book. Excuse me, I got the hiccups.
Chris Jones asks, thoughts on Rifmus getting permabanned from Twitter?
That's my thoughts.
Gives a thumbs up from me.
More money! Saudi 98 gives me $5.
Good God.
So, just to say gorilla power.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I flex my neck muscles and it makes
asks,
me look like I have less of a neck. Anyway.
Leonardo 1 asks, is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon? I know... I understand that reference.
I don't know. I don't think I want to know.
Waifu bait. Waifu bait.
About that!
Oh my God. Let's see. How much time we got left?
3 minutes. 2 minutes.
3 minutes. Okay, so a couple more. Here we go. Hardball Entertainment asks, some friends and I plan to take part in Comicsgate with our own franchise. We're thinking of ebook issues to cut costs, then print collections later in volumes. Thoughts?
Good idea. Digital's the future.
I agree. Matchstick asks, have you seen Legend of Galactic Heroes? If not, it's about a corrupt republic versus a functioning empire. I would pay you to watch it, but my wallet would die. Long live the Alliance.
I know of it by reputation
it too.
as being one of the longest running anime ever and one of the most violent. I've seen clips of it. It does look incredibly interesting. But, yeah, that would be something that, like, I would have to invest a lot of time to watch. Mm-hmm. So, because it is a huge fucking series.
Yeah, same.
But it is up my alley. I will say that.
Kelbach asks, if you could write a story set in the Warhammer universe, what would it be about and who would it follow?
Warhammer Fantasy or Warhammer 40k?
I would presume 40k.
Oh God. I would write a pure action story about about a Black Templar's crusade.
Not bad. I have no idea what I would.
And everybody in the chat saying 40k. It's like, say, if it was Warhammer Fantasy, I would write a story where all the people in there are asking why the armor designs suck ass. Seriously, there's something about 40k where like half the armor is like Renaissance inspired. Like Renaissance art was gay. Come on. Stupid looking.
And last question from Brian Gilmartin. What are our thoughts on Alan Moore?
I love him. Love his work.
He's kind of an asshole though.
Oh yeah.
But
oh yeah.
But no, he's a brilliant writer, but he's just kind of an asshole about everything.
Yeah, pretty much. Still enjoy him though.
Oh God, Nerd Wonder is drawing Ferret, Hat, and Gorilla Micah. It is confirmed. God damn it!
Yes, I love it. I love it. All right, folks, go ahead and tagging Brainbox with your questions for the overflow. So I promised an announcement, and let's go ahead and get to it. So, for those who don't know, of course, if you aren't already, you need to be watching Brian Martinez every single day he streams. He's drawing the Pages of Inglewood, and we are preparing the pitch for that book. So, yeah, definitely check that out. Bob Stone is working actively on Project Lazarus. Sadly, he doesn't have the tech to stream it. He would if he could. But that is being done as well. Those two books will be going through Indiegogo probably within the next 6 months. And then we are looking to... I don't know how we're going to proceed with them. Either they will be... we will do them 2 issues at a time as a book. We will do them 3 issues at a time as a graphic novel, because graphic novels are the way that the industry is moving right now. More people buy trades than individual issues at this point. I didn't realize that. That's probably why writing has become so decompressed. Thank you, Bendis. But what I am working on right now is an 80-some-odd page graphic novel that is a prequel to Project Lazarus called 3 Nights, 4 Days. Stars 3 men returning from the Second Crusade after the siege of Jerusalem to a small town in England that is under siege from a demonic cult and demons that have been summoned from the pits of hell by a witch. It is sort of my homage to both the 13th Warrior and the writing of Michael Crichton, but also to Berserk. It will be a dark story. It will be a period piece in a lot of senses. I'm trying to make it to where the armor and weaponry is period specific, not a lot of anachronisms here. It will be very, very dark art with a lot of really well-designed monsters. And you want to know why? The artist that I'm going to be working on, his name is Preston Acevedo. Hatman, if you would, could you get his Instagram and put it into the into the chat here? Preston is a ridiculously talented artist. Ridiculously talented, who loves doing monsters and things along those lines. When I pitched this book to him, he was all over it. He approached me originally to work together at some point. On top of that, when we have the ideas for the posters, for the tiers on our Indiegogo campaigns finalized, Preston will be doing the art for those. So I am super excited to have him on board. He is a ridiculously talented artist, very detail-oriented. You can also find him on Twitter at Nicky the Pipe. And yeah, he is fan-fucking-tastic. I couldn't be more excited than I am now. I have already started scripting the book.
Yes.
And
I have read it. I have read the preliminary script. This I just want to say, when Micah linked me Preston's stuff, I believe the exact words I sent back to him were, "Holy shit."
Yeah.
This is going to be good. This is really, really going to be good.
Let's answer some questions real quick. We'll go 5 more minutes to answer specifically questions about the future campaigns of Indiegogo for you guys.
Yes.
So, let's go ahead and get this one from, let's see here. Crystal Wing wants to know, will books be sold on Amazon? That's the only way you can buy them. After the campaigns go up, it is possible that we will probably publish there. I am going to look into possibly selling digitally through Comixology, which is owned by Amazon, so you would still be able to get them. And that being how we distribute the digital copies after they go live and they're finished. Just basically sending out a code or something like that to people that's a redeemable code via Comixology. Because for you international guys out there, we don't want you to have to pay $20 in shipping for a book that's getting shipped from like North Carolina, because Hatman's doing all the fulfillments for us, all the way to I know we've got listeners in England, Poland, Australia, New Zealand. Like, I don't want to put you guys in that sort of situation, so I feel like digital's a really good idea there. Mm-hmm. So, but on top of that, we are also going to have a, different tiers for, people who are willing to get them shipped. T-shirts and posters are the big ones for us. And Hatman will be the one who is doing all of those printing wise.
I have a question. For you guys who are interested in supporting this campaign, how do you feel about like stickers and or decals? And I'm talking like high quality stuff that you can stick on a car.
Yeah, of like different, like the logo or something like that of each book.
Stick it on a car, on your laptop, on your binders,
on your PC,
whatever. Like
I do.
Yeah. How do you guys feel about those?
Yeah, let us know if that's something you guys would be interested in. Let's keep answering questions though about this. Any idea about a release date or a timetable? The goal for Brian and I don't have a release date or timetable for Lazarus. The goal for Brian and I is to put up the Indiegogo for the first part of Inglewood before the International Conference on Men's Issues, which is in August, so probably sometime this summer.
All right. Will we have a company name?
We probably will, but we haven't thought about it yet.
Yeah, we have not.
Vanilla Gorilla Publishing.
Good idea. Okay. All right, so I will write down decals and stuff. We will definitely be doing that.
All right. Any other questions about the campaign specifically? Artistic, timing, stuff like that. There any I missed?
I don't think so.
Do you need a Comixology account to download off of Comixology? No, your Amazon account will do it for you. Yeah, when will it start? Yeah, the goal is sometime this summer.
Will the binding be? Haven't gotten that far yet. We've discussed doing hardback stuff.
Yeah. The goal, one thing we would like to do is there's going to be two tiers of the books themselves, the very first ones. Mm-hmm. The first one is the normal comic book. The second one will be a director's cut, which is going to have fan sketches and fan art in it. We'll also have a discussion or basically an article, a preface from me talking about the process of each book and how it came to be, to kind of give you guys some background information, stuff like that. Plus, basically fan art, sketches from the artists as time was going on concept and stuff like that they did, stuff along those lines. And one last question. So what kind of demons are in the book? In Three Nights, it is a lot of, think Dante's Inferno, and a lot of like medieval sketches on hell. A lot of that sort of design. Project Lazarus includes also some Middle Eastern demonology, and also some just Eastern demonology as well. And do we hope to have an animation of our stories one day? Bob Stone actually asked me the exact same question. The answer is very yes. If I could do Project Lazarus specifically, of all three stories, would be one that I would love to see as an animated series, in the same sort of style as Justice League Unlimited, but with much bloodier. Or Spawn the animation. So, all right, we need to bring this to a close. So, if you have any questions for the overflow, please go ahead. If you haven't had your question answered already, for entertainment. If I answered your question for just the comics, it doesn't count. But what I would just go ahead and tag Brainbox in them, and then we'll go ahead and get those. I think that's kind of the long and short of what I've got. Hatman, do you have any final words for the week?
Nothing aside from
May the 4th be with you.
Be with you.
All right, folks. We appreciate you. Thank you all, everybody who donated. Chaos Sonic, Serena, and I'm forgetting someone, and Southie as well. We appreciate you guys. We're gonna go ahead and take off. My name is Micah Curtis.
And I'm Alex Baldwin, also known as the Hatman.
See you guys next week. Deus Volt.
Deus Volt.
Gorilla.